Austin, astronaut. A man barely alive.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man. Steve Austin will be that man. Better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster.
Why is that opening so incredibly cool?
Because, Wade, it is part of a DVD release that you and I have been clamoring for since we were 13 years old.
That's true. Forever. We decided to forego our usual opening because this is a very special week. Mark, this is a special week because we have sitting in front of us not just Season 1, not just Season 1 Part 1, or Season 3 Part 2. We have the complete collection of the $6 Million Man.
The whole damn Megillah in a big box set. Heavy, too.
Yeah, the whole big damn thing.
The problem is that every time you open it up, you hear this. You ready, Wade?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Every time you open it up, every time you open it.
I
don't think this can be shut off.
No, it can't.
I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't. It's got a little trap door on the top. Basically, it comes with a there's a lens.
Wait, stop. Wait, here you ready?
See, okay, thank you for that, Mark. Thank you. It's a big box with a little lid that has a lenticular on it that makes Steve look kind of like he's either blurry or he's running, depending on where you sit. And then inside, you get every single episode in a series of keep cases, all five seasons, plus a disc of extras.
Now, when Wade brought this over, I had no choice but to pop. Now, Wade's already seen it, but I had no choice but to pop it in and watch the Bigfoot episode.
Well, the Return of Bigfoot. That's the Return of Bigfoot episode. The one with Sandy Duncan. It's after. So, see, that became like a multi-parter, too, with Jamie Summers involved. After Steve gets hurt, then she's got to go. And remember, it switched from the $6 Million Man to the Bionic Woman. They did a multi-part episode like they did with the Fembots. It's awesome.
Now,
see, although as much as I like the Fembots and the Bigfoot episodes, I got to tell you, the two Marslander adventures, prefer those.
Yeah, I was asking you at the time we were watching it whether the makers of the show realized how lame it was. Like, we thought it was the coolest thing ever because we were 13 years old. But what did they think?
Yeah.
Were they like totally did they think they were doing art?
I don't think they thought they were doing art, but I think they knew that they had something very cool on their hands. And they didn't have the same budget back then that they had today. I mean, television budgets did not explode until the 80s.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember back when Star Trek The Next Generation in the mid-'90s cost over $1 million an hour.
Well,
and that was considered one of the most expensive.
The first show to hit that peak was Battlestar Galactica, which was $1 million an episode in 79, was it? Was it 79?
I think they got nothing for their money, if you ask me.
I think it was 79, and it became profusely. They just bled money profusely every week, and that's why it got canceled. It wasn't for want of ratings.
Although the recent Battlestar Galactica prequel, Caprica, just got canceled.
Aw. Well, anyway, the $6 Million Man complete collection from Time Life, who's done a number of these complete collections, and boy, I'll tell you, this is just fabulous. Look, is the show a little bit cheesy? Yeah, so what? It still is just totally freaking awesome, and you can't get enough of this stuff. If you grew up on this show, you will just be enthralled. There are 17 hours of bonus material here. Which is just all three reunion movies: Return of the $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman, Bionic Showdown with Sandra Bullock, Bionic Ever After. Mark, stop it. It's fabulous. There is just so much fun stuff here. You just can't get enough of it. Oscar Goldman. I mean, these are names that are just iconic. Oscar Goldman, Jamie Summers, Steve Austin.
Well, you know which name is the most iconic.
Thank you. Mark's going to be doing that for the rest of the show.
Probably am.
No, it's great, and it's a beautiful box. It's just, I mean, we've waited so long for this. I swear I'm going to sit down. You're not going to dig me out until the end of the year. I'm going to spend every day during the holidays just watching episodes of this show.
You know what?
The Mars Lander, man, the Mars Lander.
I'm right there with you. And now all we need now is the Space 1999 one, and we're
the
good.
Blu-ray, the Blu-ray Space 1999, which
I've heard is amazing.
Which was supposed to come out a few weeks ago, but I guess it's not now coming out until about 2 or 3 weeks from now. So.
I've seen some screen grabs. I can't remember if we talked about this last week, but I saw some screen grabs that compare the Blu-ray to the current DVD, and it's a revelation.
I harassed the people at A&E about it a little bit, and they got real testy and said, it's not out for another couple of weeks. I was like, well, I saw some screen grabs. So obviously you gave it to somebody. Anyway, just get through some little some ephemera here that's not sort of in any category per se, but which you really got to know about. There's the Endless Summer Director Special Edition, which is really good. If you are a fan of the Endless Summer, which was basically the surfing movie that started it all, and there's an Ultimate Summer thing coming this week. We'll talk about next week. It's more of this Bruce Brown stuff. But Bruce Brown basically was the surfer/documentarian who kind of started it all for surf movies. And The Endless Summer is legendary. And this is a 2-disc set, comes in eco packaging, meaning cardboard. And it's really good. It's nicely remastered. I don't know why the director's special edition is that different, but it's got a few interesting bonus features, timeline on Bruce Brown's life and career, some featurette stuff, but it's the movie itself, just this old surfing footage, 92 minutes worth, really, really cool.
I don't like this cardboard ego.
I'm not fond of it either.
Here's what I want to do. I want to come out with a DVD where the packaging is made out of dolphin blubber,
that would be great.
Seal skins, and lamb guts.
That would be great.
And then all the eco people can freak out.
Well, what I'm still waiting for is the Ultimate Summer Bruce Brown Surf Collection, which comes out, which we're supposed to be getting this week, which includes not only the Endless Summer, but Endless Summer 2 and a whole bunch of other stuff that he did, a lot of his shorts and subsequent films. So, but it all began with the Endless Summer. It's a great movie. It really is. Especially if, I never surfed, but I grew up in a surfing community, and I get it.
No, Endless Summer was a classic of its time, and
it's the first of its kind.
Yeah,
it
holds up.
Sort of set it all up. Also, want to make mention of some interesting indie film, indie DVD lines that we've got here that are releasing more and more really interesting films. There's the Tribeca film series, which is part of New Video, and New Video is associated with A&E and a lot of other and that whole enterprise. But they have this line of Tribeca film, which are films that have screened and or premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival, but don't get necessarily theatrical distribution, and that's a real problem for a lot of festival films. They get great exposure at festivals, but then it never translates into commercial dollars. So a very small group of people wind up seeing them. So they're using the Tribeca label as a way of marketing some of these things direct to video, and hopefully reaching out to that audience that doesn't get to go to festivals. And some interesting titles here. We'll be talking about them in future weeks. But this one is a film by Tariq Saleh called Metropia. And pretty groovy movie here, Mark. Vincent Gallo, Stellan Skarsgård, Udo Kier. We met Udo Kier. Juliette Lewis. I mean, that's a great cast.
It is a good cast.
And we met Udo Kier.
Udo Kier is one of those guys who shows up in the weirdest cult films, and he's so Udo Kier.
He really is.
I'm not sure what nationality that guy is.
He's German.
He's German.
Oh, yeah, he's German.
He's like the German...
And he always plays vampires.
Huh?
He always plays vampires.
Well, either he plays a vampire or he looks like he should be playing a vampire.
Well, he doesn't play a vampire here. Anyway, Metropia almost feels like it's caught somewhere between Blade Runner and Brazil and Steven Soderbergh's Kafka, which has yet to make it to DVD, even though it was 2 years ago he told us that he was trying to get a commentary together. And it feels very, very Kafka-esque, and all done on kind of a shoestring budget here. The idea here is that the world is about to exhaust its oil supply, and there's this giant web of trains that goes underneath Europe, and Vincent Gallo plays the guy who the Kafka-esque hero here who thinks.
Why are we talking about this movie?
No, because it's a cool movie.
No one's going to see it.
It's a cool movie.
No one's going to rent it.
He's the kind of Kafka-esque figure whose conspiracy theories generate the story behind this. But anyway, it's very, very cool. It feels probably more like Kafka than any of those others, but I think it's really, really cool. Definitely go check it out. And then we also have from the IFC line, IFC Midnight, a Johnny To film called Vengeance, starring Johnny Halliday, which was at the Cannes Film Festival and at the Toronto Film Festival, and never really got a proper theatrical release.
I like Johnny To. He's good.
Johnny To is just like the last of the great Hong Kong gangster filmmakers. He's making stuff. John Woo isn't doing it anymore. Ringo Lam's not doing it anymore, but Johnny To is knocking him out of the park. This film just wasn't as amazing as something like, say, Exiled, which a lot of us really, really loved, but it's pretty cool. And Johnny Halliday, the great French singer and actor, is he's really getting to that grizzled stage in his life where he can be that kind of Clint Eastwood figure, that chiseled, mysterious, granite-faced guy. Anyway, really, kind of a good Dirty Harry type revenge film, more Death Wish than Dirty Harry, but really good. Johnny To just continues to impress. And then also from the IFC Midnight line is Don't Look Back, starring Monica Bellucci and Sophie Marceau. For me, all you need to say is Monica Bellucci and Sophie Marceau, and I'm done.
Sophie Marceau, by the way, and I haven't said this for a while about anybody. Sophie Marceau?
Delicious.
Delicious.
I know. I'm there with you. I interviewed her, and I can speak from firsthand experience. Absolutely true. This is from director Marina Devan, and who previously did the film In My Skin. This is a thriller about two women who are in kind of a, well, how would you put this? It's a web of
lesbian whorehouse.
I'm not gonna. It's a web of intrigue.
Why don't they have brothels for lesbians or gays? Like whorehouses.
I'm sorry, but I'm not qualified.
For
I'm not qualified to answer that question, so I'm going to take the fifth.
Gods at Digigods.com. If you know why, if you're a woman and you would like to buy the services of a woman for the evening, you can't do that.
No,
like
you
if
can't.
You're a man, and you'd like to buy the services of a man for the evening, you can't do that. It's always got to be the opposite sex. Why is that, Wade?
I'm not. I have no idea.
I believe you do.
I don't.
And you have this sheen of intelligentsia that surrounds you, this aura of brilliance, and you don't want to stoop down to my level to talk about why there are no same-sex brothels.
I'm sorry. I just don't know. I don't have an answer for you. Gods at Digigods.com. Thank you, Mark. Going to get that Steve Austin thing the whole show long. Anyway, you know what they call her? The luscious Monica Bellucci here on the.
They try to rip us off.
They're ripping you off there. Anyway, that's Don't Look Back. It was also at Cannes, and it's a cool thriller, but it's almost impossible to describe. And then we got a couple of nifty little doohickeys here that sort of give you bits and bobs of what made these people. Well, this is from Johnny Legend, who puts a lot of these kind of cult discs together. This is Dennis Hopper, The Early Works. And this is really just strictly for Dennis Hopper fans, and God rest his soul, we love Dennis Hopper. But it includes kind of early television appearances, and then this really low-budget film, Night Tide, which is kind of a cheesy little genre film made for no money. And it's funny because it was shot partly on the Santa Monica Pier, which looked totally different at the time, and made in the early 60s. Not very good, but if this whole thing is kind of interesting if you're a Dennis Hopper fan, to sort of see him in his younger days and how he emerged and evolved. And then along similar vein, we have this thing called Trek Stars Go West. Now, Mark, you're going to get a huge kick out of this. This is a 2-disc set, also from Johnny Legend, that basically shows future stars of Star Trek, and some of this stuff is just ridiculous, future stars of Star Trek on Western television shows. Now, there are other people here, a lot of other actors, Lon Chaney Jr. and various others who show up in these shows, but really this is all about watching Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner, James Doohan, in really cheesy television Western appearances. They just to make the point, they Photoshop. Like here, this is how cheesy this is. You got Leonard Nimoy as an Indian, William Shatner as a cowboy, and DeForest Kelley, who of course made a lot of Western movies, all on the cover of this thing. But to emphasize James Doohan, they do this horrible Photoshop of his face onto an Indian that is not from any episode of any show ever.
In fact, it might be a female Indian. I'm not even sure.
It's absurd. It's ridiculous. But he basically showed up. The crucial James Doohan episode here is from is The Last of the Mohicans in 1957, the episode Scapegoat, where he was this angry villager. But he also shows up as an Indian, but this is not that. This is photoshopped.
I just want
to
to know
get the point across. This is terrible.
I just want to know who came up with that idea. Whoever owns this library said, "Wait, guys!" They walked into the Monday creative meeting, and they said, "Oh my God, I've got an idea. This show happens to feature all the leads from Star Trek."
Yeah.
Let's put it. Don't take that away from me. I'm not done making my jokes.
I thought I'd sneak that away.
Not going to happen.
Okay.
You will not notice when I do it. I will do it only for effect.
Oh dear. Help us all. Okay.
All right. What else are we talking about?
What else are we going to talk about? We got another little compilation here. 6 films, all of them starring Cher, the film collection. This is Good Times, Chastity, Silkwood, Moonstruck, Mermaids, and Tea with Mussolini. Absolutely no reason to buy this unless you know somebody who is just infatuated with Cher for the holidays, who's dying to go and see Burlesque, which is the only reason they're releasing this, and who just feels that they've got to have these 6 films all rammed into one package for some strange reason. Of these films, look, Moonstruck's a great film. Silkwood's a pretty good film. Chastity, not such a good film. Good Times, kind of a cult classic, but also not very good. Mermaids, not a fan. Tea with Mussolini, ambitious but failed. So, I don't know. There's like one great film, one good film, and a few kind of ringers in here.
Well, but box sets always have 1 or 2 good films and a bunch of ringers.
Yeah. But for $50, you got to find this thing at a bargain price somewhere. And then the last of our odd ephemera here, we got a couple of foreign films, both of them about unusual gay relationships. Eyes Wide Open is about Hasidic Jews who happen to be gay, 2 men. And it's actually pretty good. It went through a lot of festivals.
Wait a second. Give me this.
Eyes Wide Open?
I reviewed this film for Box Office Magazine. We've had this conversation before.
I know we have.
Is
Pete Hammond quoted there instead of you?
Nobody's quoted. It says, fascinates. An evocative, powerful, coming out in religion story. Box Office Magazine. Now, I reviewed the film for Box Office Magazine, and I didn't say that.
Interesting.
That's the second time. No, actually, no, wait a second. I think that's the first time. Because weren't we, a couple weeks ago, we were flipping through Home Media Magazine, Home Theater, whatever it's called, magazine, and I saw the ad for this.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing. So obviously somebody read my positive review and said there's nothing blurrable. So I guess they either went to Pete Hammond or they went to the editors of Box Office and said, can you make something up for us?
Go figure.
Well, let me just say that Eyes Wide Open about a gay relationship in the Hasidic community is quite good.
It is quite good.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. No,
it's a little narrow in its scope. If you're, let's say,
but it is interesting.
It's not Transformers.
And the reason I find this interesting is that it offsets this other film that we have this week from Olive Films, which is the Danish movie by Niccolò Donato, Brotherhood. Which we just had a movie about Hasidic Jews who are gay. Well, now we have a movie about Nazi skinheads who are gay.
I think that's like being a log cabin Republican.
It is an interesting movie. I don't think it doesn't entirely work, but it's it's basically about a guy who is ejected from the Danish military because of accusations that he's been hitting on his fellow soldiers, and he winds up falling in reluctantly but eventually wholeheartedly with a fairly violent skinhead group, and then winds up having a relationship with the guy who's sort of assigned to be his guardian. Doesn't totally work. It kind of falls into a lot of gay movie cliches, which the other film doesn't. But some good acting and some good filmmaking, and ultimately, I kind of like the idea of trying to sort of force your brain to twitch a little bit. I talked a little bit about this on NPR on Friday. These movies that try to sort of make your brain twitch with their contradictions. Because there's another movie out called The Taqwa Corps, which is about devout Muslim punkers. It's like,
if I see another movie about devout Muslim punkers,
I know, right?
I go nuts.
Or like The Believer with Ryan Gosling as the Jew who's a skinhead, which actually works because he's so good.
Harry Potter and the devout Muslim skinheads.
That's it for our quick little weirdies at the top.
Well, we got some music, Wade.
Good music this week.
Phil
really
Collins.
Good music.
We have Phil Collins on Blu-ray. Phil Collins going back live at Roseland Ballroom, NYC. Do I need to name for you Phil Collins songs, Wade?
No.
I like that. Very good. This is from June of 2010, so it's quite recent. So you're pretty much getting the Blu-ray full-blown, great audio, great video on this Phil Collins thing, because, again, it was just shot a few months ago.
Pretty nice.
Really nice. They had a whole bunch of cameras on this thing. He had an 18-piece band, all the Phil Collins favorites. which include In My Lonely Room. These are my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be your favorites, but they're my favorites. In My Lonely Room, You've Been Cheating, Dancing in the Street, the old classic. Papa Was a Rolling Stone, another old classic. A lot of these are classics, but it's good stuff. Phil Collins, going back. In Excess, Mystify. Now, Wade and I were just talking about In Excess because the lead singer died in such an embarrassing fashion.
Yes, we were making comparisons to David Carradine.
Yes.
Yes.
And we also wondered whether the heroine of Tangled would die the same way at the end of that film. Because she's got hair. He figures she can hang herself with the hair.
Sure.
Let's just say that Wade and I have seen Tangled, and that didn't happen.
No, it didn't, but it's a pretty great movie.
You know what? It really is. It is terrific. Tangled is terrific. Blurb it. Tangled is terrific.
Blurb it. We'll be talking about that on Stupid for Movies. StupidForMovies.com when the day comes.
Very true. Anyway, In Excess, Mystify, Collector's Edition. This is a terrific collection of In Excess live performances. A lot of this was done, actually most was done in 1984, so we're getting all their great hits, their early hits, Never Tear Us Apart, Need You Tonight, and Girl on Fire, Devil Inside, Suicide Blonde, all the great stuff. Not on Blu-ray, and it is from 1984, so it's not like a super duper fantastically master disc, but it's still good music, and that's all that matters.
I really dig the Sondheim disc there.
Sondheim, the birthday
Great.
concert. This was
Terrific.
on PBS. This is a whole bunch of Sondheim songs performed at the New York Philharmonic. You got a bunch of great singers here, including Laura Benanti, whose name I can never pronounce. Laura Benanti, Matt Cavanaugh, Joanne Gleason, Nathan Gunn, Donna Murphy, who was actually one of the voices of Entangled, ladies and gentlemen. Really good stuff. Elaine Stritch is just a classic, fancy old New York dame.
That's just like when you say Elaine Stritch and Broadway, you might as well that's redundant.
No. It's like when you say Andrea Markovici and New York and Manhattan Torch.
Yeah, I don't know what
Feels
you're
like
talking
Torch
about.
music.
Okay.
I mean, do you remember Andrea Markovici?
No.
The only movie Andrea Markovici ever did that anybody remembers.
Yeah.
Now, she's like a classic, old school torch singer,
Right.
cabaret singer in New York. She played Michael Caine's wife in The Hand,
Oh, my gosh.
Oliver Stone's first film.
Okay.
Anyway, you got I'm Still Here, Sunday, Could I Leave You, It Takes Two, Growing Up,
It's
Finishing
great.
the Hat. It's all Sondheim.
I saw this
Great-
originally
great
on
Sondheim
I
stuff.
saw this originally on PBS in HD, and Blu-ray's even better. It's just sparkling and clean. I mean, it really the difference from broadcast 720 all the way up to 1080p, fabulous. And the thing that's so sad to me is I hadn't realized that he's freaking 80 years old now. Like Stephen Sondheim is 80.
Isn't that bizarre?
That's just insane. This guy was like, oh, man, so sad. He was like 30 or something when they did West Side Story. Isn't that amazing?
I know.
What a talent. What a phenomenal talent.
A lot of these guys, like I bet Stephen King is like 60 years old.
You know, I actually saw Stephen King. We were in the same audience at Spamalot
That's not
a few
true.
years ago. Yeah. When I saw Spamalot on Broadway, Stephen King was sitting like 4 rows behind me, and we were literally third row.
That's awesome.
We were third row, and I looked behind me. I saw Stephen King in the ghetto seats, and I was like, oh, yeah.
I saw Spamalot in the L.A. Production.
Yes.
And you know who I saw?
Who'd you see? Yeah, thank you. Oh man,
Heaven and Hell
Walked
is
right into
a Heaven and Hell is a last concert disc for the week. This is sort of a super group that was formed with Geezer Butler, Tony Iommi, and Ronnie James Dio. Now, Ronnie James Dio.
We talked about it. We had a disc of Dio a few weeks ago.
Yes, Ronnie James Dio died a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And these are some great songs. This is some. They were touring in 2009 as part of a band called Heaven and Hell, and this is stuff that was recorded at the Wacken Festival in Germany. I'm
Which is
just
a great
saying,
fest.
it's called the Wacken Festival. I
And
just
it's
work
great.
here.
It's great.
It's good stuff. Children of the Sea, Fear, The Edge of the World, Die Young, Heaven and Hell. Good stuff from this sort of metal supergroup that
I like it.
I like it too. That includes the late Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah, what a loss. And so we talked about concert. We were going to move into sports here just for a moment before we finally get into television and regular movies. We're cranking along here. Now we got soccer, basketball, football, and hockey. I'm going to start off because being as it's basketball season again, and I'm pushing for my Lakers to three-peat once more. Come on, do it for me, Kobe.
Wait, if they
Fish.
three-peat once more, that means they've three-peated in the past.
Yes, they three-peated
In the 80s,
No, in 2001,
that's
2001,
right, that was
2002.
three.
And then they went 4 times. They lost in that 4th year because they had that alleged dream team together with Karl Malone and Gary Payton. It didn't work out. And then they came back and lost to the Celtics, and since then they've won twice. So this will be their 8th appearance in the last decade, and it could be their 6th win. So let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Come on. Anyway, this is the LA Lakers NBA Finals Series Collector's Edition on Blu-ray for 2010. All 7 games of that amazing final series against the Celtics. Let me say this. That was not a pretty series. That was one of the ugliest championship series you will ever see in the history of the NBA. That was just 2 incredibly talented teams bumping, grinding, gutting it out in the most unglamorous, unspectacular way imaginable. There are no highlights. There is nothing that makes you just breathe a sigh of relief. This is painful to watch over and over and over. But if you're a Lakers fan, the fact that they finally win it, it's worth having. It's a beautiful Blu-ray. These games are all shot on high def now, and they look fabulous, so I hope they don't ever release this stuff in DVD ever again. But NBA is really doing a good job of delivering a lot of really cool stuff here. A lot of cool bonus features, press conferences. They've really gone full-bore multimedia at the NBA, and this is a terrific set. Just absolutely wonderful. So. Then on the football end of things, down to DVD, it's Ultimate NFL, which, you know what, I don't really get this. One of the big selling points on this is that they have state-of-the-art high-definition footage in slow motion, but it's a DVD, not an HD. So it's not a Blu-ray, so what's the point of the state-of-the-art high-definition footage that has been down-converted to standard def? I don't really get it. But anyway, all of my complaints aside, you know, this is almost kind of gimmicky, and I don't know that I can recommend it. It's not like you're watching a great game. It's not like you're watching great coverage. It's really just kind of photographic gimmickry, and I guess it's cool for about 10 minutes or so, but 75 minutes, not good enough for me. Then, if you are a hockey fan, you're going to want to get the special edition of the Roaring to the Cup, Chicago Blackhawks 2010 Stanley Cup champions. This includes Game 5 of their Western Conference quarterfinal, but otherwise, this is kind of the same as the Lakers thing that I just mentioned. This is just a collection. Well, it's not the complete final, but these are key games. This is all just kind of highlighting the championship team. It's got quarterfinal Game 5 from April, the finals Game 1, finals Game 2, finals Game 5, and finals Game 6. And if you're not a Chicago Blackhawks fan, you won't care. It's not on high def. This is the one I want to talk about here, Mark, because you have an anecdote that you want to add you want to append to this. Yes, you do. We talked about this before the show, and this is your springboard. I'm giving you the opportunity to mouth off about this. And by the way, we have a giveaway this week.
We do?
Yes, we do. I'm going to mention it later. This is the official 2010 FIFA World Cup film in 3D. Blu-ray 3D. Unlike, however, most Blu-ray 3Ds or 3D Blu-rays, you cannot watch this just in regular Blu-ray. It only plays in 3D, and it even tells you that. So I don't know what the point is, because I am not a fan of 3D at all, especially 3D television. Love soccer, love the World Cup. Not my favorite World Cup this year, just because I was rooting for the Orange Men in the final. But that notwithstanding, it would be nice to get this in a way that's not 3D, and maybe I would enjoy it more. But hey, look, you get glasses, and it'll look lame. Mark, tell us about your feelings about 3D television.
I've been saving this story.
Yeah.
Wade doesn't know what's been going on.
No, I don't. I've only had a teaser.
I went to look at, for the first time in my life, 3D TV. I went to the Sony store. Place was empty. They had the glasses, put them on, looked into the TV. They had that FIFA thing on it, that FIFA Blu-ray 3D. Can I tell you something, Wade?
Huh.
I liked it.
Why?
I am not a fan of 3D movies. I've gone off the record. I've gone on the record. I've gone through the record as saying that 3D movies only work for me when the movie is shot with 3D rigs and 3D right down the line. Then I can consider it. Post-converted, on the cheap, not into it. 3D TV, I like for 2 reasons.
Why?
Not that I like it for everything.
Sure.
I'm not going to watch, daytime TV.
No, I get you.
The View with 3D, God forbid.
Yeah.
Video games. They played video games in 3D?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Cool.
Yeah, totally.
Things are spinning and going and doing and zwing, zwing.
I've said from the beginning I'm totally on board with that. I just don't see the point for anything else on television.
Hang on.
Okay, go on.
The sports stuff that I saw The FIFA thing, it's okay. It's okay. You're hoping that 3D maybe would allow you to see something in an angle or a different way that you can't. There might be potential for baseball. Like, let's say you can tell whether a ball went through the strike zone or it's outside or inside because it's 3D. Maybe, not sure. There's some movies the movie clips they had on 3D. Mm-hmm. Some of those I liked. I'll tell you why. The TV was a 16 by 9 TV, right? And some of the films they were showing were like 2:3:5 and aspect ratios that were wider, or whatever than the regular 16 by 9 TV. And what's nice is that there was an animated scene where this kid goes on a skateboard down the sidewalk, and he's going down the skateboard. There's sparks flying out of his skateboard because he's going so fast. And the cool part was how the sparks actually sort of went out of the screen into the black, because again, it's a 16 by 9 TV, but like a 2:3:5 animated film. And I thought that was a really cool effect.
Groovy.
And the thing is that unlike a movie screen, when you're 100 feet away in a gigantic room where the effect is lost, basically, when you're watching it on TV, you are one man or woman watching the TV from 5 feet away, and it becomes much more interesting. I'm not going to say great, worthwhile, groundbreaking, a much more interesting experience when you're one guy with the glasses 5 feet away. So I did see the potential for a 3D TV. That doesn't mean I saw the potential of post-converting I Love Lucy in 3D. I don't mean that.
Yeah.
I mean video games, certain movies, and sports if there's a way to allow you to immerse yourself into the experience more, help you understand the intricacies of the game more through the 3D experience. I'm not sure that's the case, but I did see that the potential could be there.
Okay.
You didn't think I was going to say that, did you?
No, I didn't.
You thought I was going to be a hater.
Yeah.
You know who else is a hater?
I am. All right. Well, we're going to move into some animated stuff here, and then we're going to close out with new movies and television. This is DC Showcase. If you haven't followed up on DC Showcase, there's a lot of cool stuff here. DC Showcase, animated original shorts. This is pretty cool. This is Superman Shazam, The Return of Black Adam. Now, this is out on Blu-ray and on DVD. It's not the artwork that they have for the cover of this thing is pretty fabulous. If anybody ever did animation with that level of artwork, I would just be all over it.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not what it is.
No.
But you know what? I really do enjoy the fact that we've got there are some really cool other shorts on here. Jonah Hex, which is better than the movie. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Green Arrow, Black Canary, and the Spectre are also featured on here in these bonus shorts. But I got to tell you, the whole narrative of Superman and Captain Marvel, and this is really cool. They've done that a number of times in the comic strip or in the comic books because they are very similar, right? They sort of look alike, and they both fly, and they both are invincible and whatnot, except they just have different origins. But I like Captain Marvel. I used to watch Shazam and ISIS every Saturday morning on television. You remember that, the Shazam ISIS hour, Mark?
Oh, yes, I do.
You bet. We're reliving our childhoods on this show, folks. Yes, we are. Anyway, no, it's really cool. I'm glad this is out. It looks great on Blu-ray, perfectly acceptable on DVD, and I think the Spectre and the Green Arrow stuff is really cool too. So get your DC on, go crazy. And if you still can't get enough Superman, then there's Secret Origin, the story of DC Comics. And this is narrated by Ryan Reynolds, who, of course, is going to become part of DC lore because he is going to be now Green Lantern. And have you seen any of the Green Lantern preview stuff?
Zero.
I've only seen stills.
Yeah,
he looks good in the suit, though.
Well, the suit's all CGI, right? I heard the suit was all CG.
Is the suit completely CG?
I believe so.
Really?
Yes. I could be wrong, but I believe it is.
So what he did it naked, and they just see. Never mind. Anyway, this is a documentary. Actually, it is a detailed historical archival look at the history of DC Comics, which is nice because everyone always focuses on Marvel, and I was always a DC fan, and I always caught flack from people for being a DC person because all the Marvel people think they're so cool. There's an elitism with the Marvel crowd, I think, that I don't really appreciate.
I was Marvel.
I was DC. All about DC. Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth Prime. I'm all about it. Justice League, Justice Society.
Oh, well, the Crisis, I remember the Crisis series. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a huge deal.
That was an awesome deal. Oh, man, I remember that so well.
But here's the thing. DC had to do that because they had completely convoluted their line.
Yeah.
Whereas Marvel never did that.
Yeah, Marvel's got too many like weird mutant things. You know,
I don't know what that means.
Doctor Strange is the only Marvel hero that I really
I don't understand why
loved.
Doctor Strange is like
Doctor Strange and Thor. I was into those two.
Really?
Yeah.
You're like the lame B characters.
See, I like Doctor Strange and Thor. They were cool. Anyway, no, this is really terrific. I do recommend this. This is nice. It gives DC a little bit of its mojo back. And then we also have Metalocalypse, Season 3, The Dead Man. Now, this is on Blu-ray. We've talked about this before. I'm just going to say I kind of don't get Metalocalypse. This goes with all that Adult Swim stuff that Mark and I feel like old geezers about. But it looks cool, but I got to tell you, I can't take more than about 5 minutes of this stuff. So if you're a fan, go out and get your Blu-ray on. Looks gorgeous. Makes no sense to me. Mark?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were tossing it to me.
There you go.
Raggy.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo, Camp Scare original movie. This was on the Cartoon Network. You know, at this point, Scooby-Doo has lost all of its luster and allure and brilliance. Well, maybe not brilliance, but it's lost.
They've gone to the well too many times.
It's not. You know, the fumes are running on fumes. It's just too much. There's some special features here, including the bonus episode of the show and some. Who cares? Jesus
I don't know.
Christ, no one cares about
Screw
this
it.
crap anymore. Here's some kid stuff for the kid or pedophile in your family. We have Care Bears, the Giving Festival movie. This is about a bunch of bears who slaughter the town folks until they just bleed bloody guts everywhere.
I just have no love for the Care Bears.
The Care Bears, the Giving.
They turn children into cowards.
Well, they should. What else? No one cares about this crap.
It's just
The Mickey Mouse
CGI.
Clubhouse. The Mickey Mouse Clubhouse numbers roundup 3. This is where you can learn how to cut cocaine.
Stop!
What they teach
You're
on
blowing
that.
through this too quickly. This has Mickey Moat. This includes Mickey Moat.
Wait, here's another Scooby-Doo one. Scooby-Doo, where are you? Volume 4 Spooked Bayou. These are more episodes where the bad guy tried to scare the kids away so that they can keep the gold to themselves.
Mark, this has a Mickey Moat in it. A little kitty like remote toy thing.
That's great.
It's a Mickey Moat. Don't you like that? I just want to say, here's the problem I have with the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse thing. It's all CG, and it's not just CG, it's bad CG. And if you're going to do Mickey Mouse, please do it the classic way so that you don't just completely desecrate everything that we have in our memories about the original Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Minnie and you know, come on, these guys, make them look right. Don't do this CGI animation junk for them. Really don't. Please don't. And as long as we're in toddler territory here, because that's where our listeners are, that's where we are. Leapfrog Learning DVD and CD Set Volume 2, 3 DVDs and a music CD. The Learning Frog kind of freaks me out a little bit, as do a lot of things for kids these days. But here's what you get in here. You get Math Adventure to the Moon, Word Caper, and Math Circus. This stuff is all for just teaching. It's Sesame Street stuff, right? It's teaching kids how to, spell and do math and how to use their memory and how to, as Mark said, cut cocaine and things like that. It's teaching them valuable life skills. And this is for really, really little kids. And it's kind of a way of duping them into learning without their feeling like they actually are learning. I guess if it works, knock yourselves out. But it creeps me out a little bit because they're frogs. They're frogs, Mark. They're frogs. I'm just saying, they're frogs.
Wade, we have the Garfield Odie show. The Garfield show Odie. Now,
I don't like this.
I hate Garfield. Garfield is the worst.
I like Garfield as an animated character, but this gets into that CG stuff again. I hate the
really,
CGI animation.
It is rudimentary CG. And the thing with Garfield is that, Garfield is not a cat. He's not a real... What cat do you know eats lasagna and kicks dogs off of tables?
I don't know.
He has nothing to do with a cat. He could be anything.
Yeah, true.
I just don't get Garfield. So the Garfield show ODO is a whole bunch of episodes featuring Odie. Again, as Wade says, it's CGI and has no personality. And Garfield has way too many facial expressions. He's just because Garfield is like this he's kind of this cool cat who doesn't really scream and yell and freak out a lot. But here, because they got to kind of
I just don't like the animation on this show.
Well, no,
I
it's
don't
CG.
Like it. It's terrible.
Whatever. I'm done talking about Garfield.
Okay, who's more annoying, Elmo or SpongeBob SquarePants?
I thought the SpongeBob movie was funny.
The SpongeBob movie.
Yeah.
This ain't the SpongeBob movie.
Which is all I know of SpongeBob, so I would have
No.
to say by default, Elmo is the one I find more annoying.
Okay, well, this is Legends of... Well, I'll do SpongeBob first. Legends of Bikini Bottom, starring SpongeBob. The whole idea of sponge that talks. I don't know. I still, this is, kids today, boy, I don't know what you're drinking or smoking or doing. But
Wait, don't we have a giveaway?
Oh yeah, we do. Maybe I'll get to that in just a moment. We're forcing you to go through all this, folks. That's how good the giveaway is. So anyway, yeah, this is blah blah blah, SpongeBob and his Bikini Bottom friends, and they've blah blah blah. It's the same thing all the time. This is just weird crap under the water. Never mind. So you get. I'm getting tired of this.
Finally,
Okay,
now
I know.
this is where I was a year and a half ago.
I know. And then Elmo and Friends, The Letter Quest, and Other Magical Tales, including the Cookie Touch and the Shoe Fairy. This is just more Elmo nonsense with some interesting guest stars here. Adults who obviously have nothing better to do than to show up on these shows to remind kids that they exist. That includes Neil Patrick Harris and wow, boy, gosh, the things that people have to do to make their boat payments. Okay. Here's our giveaway. Here's our giveaway this week.
What?
No. Just hand me this. No, that has nothing to do with it.
Thank God.
I'm just cleaning up here. The giveaway this week is a Blu-ray DVD combo set of The Expendables, which we will be reviewing next week and doing the giveaway next week, announcing the winner of the giveaway. We have one to give away, not 5, not 4, not 3, not 2, just one. Just one. That's all they made available to us. So one lucky listener will get the Blu-ray DVD combo of The Expendables. You just have to email us, put Sly in the message, in the subject header, Sly in the line, Sly, S-L-Y. No weird spellings, no nothing, because this is all going to get filtered. And you put Sly in the subject, and then your name and address in the body of the message, and we will do one of our drawings next week. We'll be taking emails right up until midnight Thursday. I know Mark's going to ask me which Thursday.
Now, wait a second. We don't need to have a giveaway. There already is a winner. The winner's been picked.
Really?
Yes, Steve Austin, you win the Expendables Blu-ray combo pack.
Yeah. No, this is going to be midnight Pacific time of November 18th, Thursday. So that means watch Stupid for Movies at 8 Pacific time on stupidformovies.com. And then you still have, at the end, you have another 3 hours to send your email off. Sly in the subject, name and address in the body of the message. What are you looking at?
I'm just marveling at the
You're marveling at the Steve Austin-ness.
Yeah.
The glorious Steve
Look,
Austin-ness.
it's got a hologram at the top.
Such a good show. Such a good show.
That Bigfoot episode was dreadful.
Oh, it's the best. Andre the Giant, man. Was the best Bigfoot ever. So anyway, and we will give you the DVD Blu-ray combo of The Expendables, which we'll talk about next week. If you watched Stupid for Movies when the movie was released, you know what I thought of it at least. So a couple of final titles here on the kid end of things. The Superhero Squad show. Again, Mark and I have talked about how we're not fond of all these shows where they take heroes and turn them into kids, like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and as little kids and all that stuff. But some people really dig it. So Volume 2, Quest for the Infinity Sword, the Superhero Squad show. Little tiny Iron Man and little tiny Hulk and little tiny Silver Surfer and little tiny X-Men. There you go. It's just awfully cute. And finally, we talked about Scooby-Doo earlier. This is more live-action Scooby-Doo. This is the family double feature, Scooby-Doo 1 and 2, both feature films with that horrible, dreadful, appalling CGI Scooby on one Blu-ray. Is there a reason to get this? I don't think so, but some people apparently like these movies. They made a little bit of money, and that Raja Gosnell directed both of them, and I guess I don't know. What do we think about Raja Gosnell, Mark?
I don't think of him at all, actually. I don't.
It is a him, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he maybe could have had a career somewhere down the line, but now he just does bad movies.
Dreadful.
I agree.
All right,
Now, what is this?
we're gonna wrap out now with television and new movies.
Well, let's do the new movies.
Let's do new movies.
The television doesn't look very good. We can roll through it fast, but we're just saying it doesn't look good this week.
Mark, we talked about the Jonah Hex DVD last week on Blu-ray. Jonah Hex, is it any better?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. This movie blows much less on Blu-ray than it blew on DVD. This movie is terrible, and it's with Josh Brolin, who comes out unscathed because he's Josh Brolin, and he's cool. And Jimmy Hayward, who directed Horton Hears a Who, for some reason directed this, and the movie's Terrible, which we talked about last week. Also, we have The Kids Are All Right, which is a very good film from a very terrific indie director named Lisa Cholodenko. And,
whom I've interviewed, by the way.
Who Wade has interviewed. Now, Wade, what do you like about this film?
You know, it's basically it's a story of we have a lot of new family paradigms in the world right now, right? I mean, it's about a gay couple, two women who and their adopted they're not adopted children, but they're the children that they have by a seed donor who eventually comes back into their lives, and it's sort of how these people all deal with basically what is a very unconventional change in their family structure. And you know what? At the end of the day, family's a family. It just is. And that's what I like about this. It is. No, it's what I like about it is that it basically says that you know, people will love whom they're going to love, and they're going to embrace whatever paradigm makes their lives happy. And I think it's a very sharp film. It's a very entertaining film, but it's insightful at the same time. And Lisa Cholodenko has kind of been in the wilderness a little while. She's done some noteworthy movies, but she, you know, has kind of been in indie purgatory for a little while, and this is nice. She's got her. She's on the mend, and she's got an amazing cast here with Annette Bening and Julianne Moore and Mark Ruffalo. They're all terrific. Mark Ruffalo probably is as sharp as he's been in years. Annette Bening, I think, stands to a very good chance of getting an Oscar nomination either for this or for Mother and Child. And Julianne Moore, just radiant. So it's a sharp film all around, and not much on the way of extras. A feature commentary by Lisa Cholodenko is very good. She's very sharp. I interviewed her at an evening at the Skirball Center some years ago, and she's, you know, a little bit shy to begin with, but once you get her going, she's very bright and very articulate. And then some interesting behind the scenes tidbits. Monty Walsh, Mark. Monty Walsh. You ever seen Monty Walsh?
In person?
No. Just Lee Marvin as Monty Walsh.
No, I have not.
You're missing out, Mark. You know who directed this? He died recently.
He died.
He was a DP. But he directed this.
Died recently was a DP.
Bill Fraker.
Ooh.
Yeah. William Fraker, 1970, one of the greatest cinematographers of all time, directed Lee Marvin as Monty Walsh in what is basically kind of a Peckinpah film. It is, you know, Lee Marvin has one of those faces that was just completely designed for the West. And here he's, you know, he can't just sort of let the rough-hewn edges of the West kind of go into his past. He can't sort of accept things changing. And it's a fascinating character study of a particular type that you see in a lot of Westerns, but they never sort of take it to this extent. And I really like this film. Great John Barry music. You know, John Barry always does great music for his Westerns. And William Fraker, not a bad director. Don't know why he didn't do more of it. I really don't. And before we get into a little television, a couple of the 2A releases this week, I'm going to say, is the Blu-ray booklet of Mutiny on the Bounty. Now, there have been a number of these films, and I know what you're thinking. The Marlon Brando Mutiny on the Bounty? No. The Bounty starring Mel Gibson? No. This is the original Mutiny on the Bounty, which won a number of Academy Awards, including Best Picture, starring Charles Laughton and Clark Gable in 1935. It is a beautiful Blu-ray booklet. Just bear in mind that this movie is not widescreen, and it is not color. So, you know, you get a really, really crackling great Blu-ray of a basically a 1:3:3 aspect ratio black and white movie. But it is gorgeous. It is as sharp as anything that Warner Brothers has ever done. If you like Casablanca on Blu-ray, you're going to love this because it has that same silvery sheen. They really kind of restore the silver nitrate look to these things in Blu-ray, and that's what I love most. This includes the 1935 short Pitcairn Island Today that was used as kind of a promotional ditty for this thing, and then the newsreel of the Academy Awards and theatrical trailers of this film, plus the Marlon Brando version from 1962, which is also quite a good film. But I think this is just terrific. I'm thrilled that this is out. Get that old Blu-ray, that old DVD off your shelf, and get rid of it. Get yourself a new Blu-ray of Mutiny on the Bounty. And then Buster Keaton in Sherlock Jr. and Three Ages. Kino is putting all their Keaton stuff out on Blu-ray. This is wonderful. Two fabulous films, you know, feature length together, each one a little bit shorter than feature length. Sherlock Jr. is about 45 minutes. Three Ages lasts an hour. Not the best Keaton films. Sherlock Jr. is, certainly one of the more popular ones, but I still think, for just knockout Keaton, there's nothing like The General.
Oh,
but
sure.
The
And
General's
on Blu-ray, too.
Yeah, and General's on Blu-ray as well. But, if you got to keep your Keaton collection complete, this is the one you want to do. And there's some interesting little extras here. There's a documentary on the making of Sherlock Jr., written by film historian David Pearson, which is quite good, and a little visual essay on locations used in the film by John Bankston. And then there's on Three Ages, there's a 9-minute excerpt from Man's Genesis, which is kind of the film that inspired Three Ages, so that kind of the pedigree of where Keaton was going when he was making the film, because it is kind of sort of a bit of a parody or a satire. And pretty great. So pretty great. Got to get your Keaton on Blu-ray. And I can't wait for them to put Chaplin on Blu-ray. I don't know what the delay is.
That is the weird thing.
It is. It makes no sense. And then as wrapping out the new movies this week, it's kind of thin on new movies. We got some direct-to-DVD and direct-to-Blu-ray stuff for the teen female set, Debbie Ryan and Jean-Luc Bilodeau in 16 Wishes. Now, I know what you're thinking, Mark. You're thinking, my gosh, Debbie Ryan and Jean-Luc Bilodeau together? Really? In a movie? Like in the same movie? I know, right? What took them so long?
Exactly. Years in the making?
Yeah. What took them so long? I mean, those two are like, geez, totally unknown.
You're right, they are. Who are they?
Yeah, well, Debbie Ryan. Debbie Ryan is from The Sweet Life on Deck, which is one of those Disney shows, and Bilodeau is from Kyle XY. So obviously,
yeah.
The kids know who they are. The kids know.
The only thing I remember about Kyle XY was the one sheet where the kid
Right, I know.
didn't have a belly button.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, the kids know who these two are. It's oh my gosh, it's so young, it's so awesome, it's just so cool being 16. 16 Wishes. Oh, it's the best. And then we have this thing on Blu-ray and on DVD called Ramona and Beezus. Mark, did you see this? Because we got a Blu-ray DVD combo with digital copy and then a regular DVD for Ramona and Beezus. It's awesome.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's great. It stars Joey King and Selena Gomez. Come on, give it up.
Now, what's the deal with Demi Lovato? I didn't know who that was until last week, when now she's like 7 years old and she's in rehab because she's drunk or something. What's going on with that?
I have no idea.
Tell me right now.
I don't keep up with them.
Okay, good.
But you know who does? That's right. Thank you.
See, you're on board.
I am on board. It's just one of those days. It's been one of those weeks. Hasn't it been one of those weeks?
Not for me.
It was for me. Well, because I was on NPR on Friday, and Tim and I had to just see an unwieldy bunch of horrible movies.
Don't name drop. I'm on NPR, blah, blah, blah. I'm all smart. I talk to people about smart things, blah, blah, blah.
We had to see a whole bunch of horrible stuff that, honestly, I didn't get any sleep Thursday night. I started watching movies about 6 p.m. Thursday evening. This is what my life is like, people. About 6 p.m., I had 4 movies left to watch. So like 6 until 8:30, I watched one. Then I watched from 8:30 to about 11, I watched the French film Outside the Law, which is about the Algerian War. And then I watched this movie about a Catholic nun from the 12th century called Vision by Margareta von Trotta until like 3 in the morning. And then I watched some documentary about a guy that got beaten and makes a doll city that recreates World War II scenarios that recreate his beating or some such. I mean, I got no sleep. I basically watched like 4 movies all night long.
Yeah, and what's going to happen on December 11th, the day before we vote?
Oh, I'll be watching probably another 4 or 5 movies,
Yes,
whatever's left over.
Well, whatever they send us.
Dreadful. Anyway, we only have a few minutes left, and we want to get to some television. So, basically here. This is, you know what, this Ramona and Beezus that I keep avoiding wanting to talk about. This stars Selena Gomez, who's on that Wizards of Waverly Place show that I can't stand to watch more than 15 seconds of. And this girl, Joey King, is the newcomer here. She's young, she's cute, she's bubbly. They're all kind of, this is a 20th Century Fox release, but they just scream Disney in every conceivable way. And you know what? It's just about 2 sisters doing that sisterly thing. The older one, the younger one. Oh, they play, they have fun, and it's coming of age, and whatever. I'm sure there are people out there who just are addicted to all those Disney family things, and they'll see this and they'll go, oh, look, a couple of cute girls. Oh my gosh! And it's got Selena Gomez. We got to Gotta get it. Yep. Knock yourselves out.
All right, wait, here we go. We're wrapping this up. On
Go crazy.
4 discs, we have the BBC version of The Chronicles of Narnia.
Which has been out 175 times.
Yes.
Why are they releasing it again, Mark?
Well, because there's a new one. There's a new version. It's the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And now, you didn't know that there was a version of the film with Steve Austin in it.
I didn't know that.
Unbelievable.
I didn't know that.
Princess Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, whatever the hell that is.
Dawn Treader, yeah.
Dawn Treader.
That, you know what?
And the Silver Chair.
Obviously, this is because there's another Narnia film coming out in
There
holiday
is?
season. Yes. Yes, there is. And actually,
I just bumped the mic.
I got to tell you, this BBC production, even though it's all low budget and no CGI and everything, really pretty good, very faithful. In many ways, better than these really overbloated movies they keep releasing.
Oh wait, no one cares. BBC also is Sherlock. Now this is a contemporary take on the Sherlock Holmes adventures. This is with Martin Freeman, who I always enjoy, and this guy named Benedict
really good
Cumberbatch.
cast.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Look at that guy. And the Oscar goes to Benedict Cumberbatch. I love that name. There's 3 episodes here: A Study in Pink, The Blind Banker, and The Great Game. There's also some special features, including a commentary. This is, look, for a contemporary take on Sherlock Holmes, I think it's kind of good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It has a following for good reason, and 2 terrific actors. I mean, Cumberbatch is great, and Martin Freeman is great.
Doctor Who,
Love
the
Martin
complete
Freeman.
also from the good folks at the BBC. The complete 5th season of Doctor Who. This is the new version of Doctor Who. This is the one with Matt Smith and Karen Gillan.
Yeah.
And, you know, I kind of like the older ones, you know, because there's
they're
something
cheesy.
about this show that you feel it needs to be sort of
Yeah.
a period piece more than it needs to be contemporary. But you know what? People dig it.
Well, they keep reinventing Doctor Who, and it's part of the tradition that there's always a new guy playing Doctor Who. So, you know, if they ever make a mistake, they can correct it just by casting a new guy.
And speaking of which, you know, Johnny Depp just signed on to play the
Doctor
role
Who?
in oh my lord, I forgot. Dark Shadows.
Oh, that's right.
What, Atticus Finch, whatever his name is.
Atticus Finch in Dark Shadows? Wow, that would be freaky.
Maybe Atticus Finch has to represent
Oh
Dark
my
Shadows.
gosh! Can you
in some
imagine
sort of
Atticus Finch becomes a vampire and he starts? Oh my gosh! It becomes a civil rights quandary.
Lie to Me, the complete 2nd season. This is the Fox show. There's a bunch of special
Tim
features
Roth.
in here. Tim Roth, 22 episodes.
Tim
6
Roth should be in
discs.
features, but you know what? He's getting steady work. So
He is. Gotta love it. I
payments.
never latched on to this show, but other people have. Perry Mason, this is Season 5, Volume 2. This, of course, are the back 15 episodes of Season 5.
oh, look. Take a cue from the $6 Million Man. Put the whole thing out in one big collection, so that when you open the box, well, it might say Perry Mason, but you know this season 1, 2, half, and 0.3. Come on, stop it, please.
We've pretty much we say that every time, and
I know.
it pisses us off every time. One last thing from the good folks across the pond, we have Wycliffe.
Yeah.
Jack Shepard plays he's a detective. He's a superintendent. He wears a trench coat, and that means he's fantastic.
Wycliffe. These are 2 sets of Wycliffe. This is
Yes.
Yeah. No, this is series 3 and series 4 and series 5. They've already released series 1 through 3, and I like Wycliffe because he represents that British cop sensibility where you're smart but you're grizzled. Here on American TV, you can only be smart or grizzled. These guys are smart and grizzled. I like
saying
that.
he's scrizzled?
He's scrizzled. Yeah.
Wait, why don't you tell the good folks how they can win the Expendables
You
Blu-ray?
can win the Expendables DVD Blu-ray combo by sending us an email. Subject should read Sly for Sly Stallone, but just Sly, S-L-Y, and then put your name and mailing address in the body of the message. We will do a drawing next week after we have received all the emails, which must come in before midnight. Thursday night, midnight, November 18th, and we'll do a drawing, and you're going to love it. It's going to be fun. Good
That's
time.
the show. Is that the show?
You know what, Mark? I think that's the show. So please tune in next week or watch us on our Stupid for Movies show every Thursday at 8 p.m. at stupidformovies.com. My brain is just in a knot today. Stupidformovies.com. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific Time. Or email us anything you want, gods@digigods.com. We also have a Facebook page for this show and for Stupid for Movies. And we're also on YouTube now, too, don't we? We've got what's that, YouTube/Streamin' Garage? Is that what
Streamin' Garage is the producer Mike does all sorts of shows under the banner of Streamin' Garage, and we are under that banner.
Very good.
So there you go. So this is Mark Kaiser.
Along with Wade Major.
And